All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the live stream. Hold on one second. Okay. Now, hello, and welcome back. I just got done working out and took a little shower, so hair is all Carpian. But then again, the hair is always Carpian. How's everybody doing? We are here on another beautiful day. It is May 22nd, 2023. We've got some updates regarding Palantir. Cathie Wood just bought another 300,000 shares. And so we're going to talk about that. Okay. We're going to talk about some interesting tweets that were put out today about Palantir. We are going to talk about the price action and why Palantir is continuing to hold strong to $11. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Bilderberg meeting. Remember, I talked about this on Twitter, and if you're following me on Twitter, and if you're not at Mid is Investing, it's in the description. I tweeted about Karp and Thiel being invited to the Bilderberg meeting. I found a clip from 6 years ago of Peter Thiel being at the Bilderberg meeting. Someone tweeted it, and it was interesting to see his response to what was said. And there's a very familiar character who was also in that clip with him. It's not Alex Karp. We're going to get into all of that today on today's show. Now, I need your opinion on something, okay? I need your guys' opinion on something. Thank you for 54 people being here. Appreciate it. It means the world to me. Look, I'm kind of thinking of starting a new thing, and you know me and having to start new things. I start new things because that's what I do. I'm kind of thinking every night around 8:45 to 10, Palantir Shareholder Club meeting live stream every day, Monday through Thursday at least. Can't do Fridays, but is that something you'd be interested in? Is that something you care about? Because we do the podcast at 10, Finance Junkies. So this is kind of like a preview before we get into Finance Junkies of just all of the Palantir people talking. Because on Finance Junkies, we can't talk about Palantir for the whole hour. And if there's enough news every day, which it seems like we're hitting a point where the stock's only $12, but there's a lot of news every day. I mean, there's more news than videos I can make about Palantir. It's becoming to the point where there's a lot of stuff. And so that's where I think it would make sense to potentially do a live stream like that. So let me know if you guys want them. Bro doesn't ever take a break. Yeah, there's no reason to take a break on this. Only if you ring the bell every 100. Spend more time on Audia. Everyone should sign up for Audia, audia.io/register. This is, if you haven't figured out, YouTube is a very good asset to help promote my startup and help build the personal brand. So I think, an hour every single night just talking about Palantir, I think it would be pretty dope. And again, it's just a question if there's a lot of news, and it seems to be like there is not a lot of news. If it pumps, you could get so many views. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about Palantir is it was a stock that was being talked about in the bear market, right? And so because Palantir was being talked about in the bear market, it was getting, people care about the stock regardless if it's a bull or bear market. Obviously, it's a bull market. People are going to care a lot more. But the fact that Palantir was even trending or being discussed or getting any sense of views as the stock has collapsed like 80%, it's up like 80% year to date. I think there's interest for the company. And that's what it's always been like, because there's people like me that are really interested about the company. That's why I put Daily Palantir number 001 ? In the title, because I'm like, I don't know if we're going to do it every day. But I'm excited for it because it's exciting to me. And I kind of like doing this. Palantir at 300 by next week. Let's get it before it's too late. Palantacular. I love it. I don't own any. Ray, you don't own Palantir? Wow. I thought you owned Palantir. I thought you watch the channel a ton. I thought you would own Palantir. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm happy you're here. Yes, do Palantir before Finance Junkie so England can join in too. Yeah, it would be a suitable time for England people too. Look, I'm thinking of doing it. There's enough news every day. It's an hour before Finance Junkies. I'm already here. Might as well go live. Also, the fun thing about going live is I get to talk to everybody, and so it's fun going live because you just get to talk. You get to talk. It's you're not literally talking about Palantir for 60 minutes, right? But you get to weave into the topics, discuss different things going on, kind of like a market close, but geared towards Palantir. But obviously, other topics that are in the market are going to affect everything going on with Palantir. So that's why it's exciting. Amit looking like the sketchy palm reading fortune teller around the corner. Look at this guy. Well, I did go to a fortune teller once, and she told me to buy Palantir. So maybe that's why I look like you didn't invest in. Wow, you didn't invest in Palantir or Audia. That's great. What are you invested in, Ray? Are you fucking investing in Neo or some shit like that? What'd you buy, bro? There was another person who reached out the other day who wanted to invest in Audi. There were like 3 people actually, like in the past week, who reached out. This is also why like building YouTube is very important, because attention is very scarce to get. And if you can capture attention, it's important because, you know, that attention matters in the grand scheme of anything you're building. And so they were like, yo, okay, I want to invest. And I'm like, damn, bro, like the round's closed. It's been closed since January. And so, you know, we're good. We have enough runway to last for a pretty long time. So this is one of the cool things about running a startup is like, if you end up raising money, the next part is like scaling the product and not worrying about the money stuff. And thankfully, we just don't have to worry about the money stuff, I would say, for like the next 2-3 years. And so it's a different problem we have to deal with, which is very complex, but it's not the money problem, which is the good part. Gus, what's up? Where are the funds? The funds are in the bank account, Kelly. I did not invest any of Audia's money. I mean, they're in the bank account. I mean, look, I know there's like people giving out, there's short-term treasuries and stuff like that, giving out yields. I kind of just don't even want to play with that stuff because I don't even know how to put you have to take your money in and out of that stuff. And it's a little bit more complicated than I would think. And I don't want to just like put it in there and take it out and kind of, you know, it's a little bit scary sometimes. So it's in the bank account for now and it's not being put like there. I told you she would buy back in at 11. That is correct. I told you she would buy back in at 11. Cathie's back. All right, so let's talk on the tuna burning made up with the funds. Yeah, all the funds are in Palantir. No, that's not happening. I mean, that's the one thing, guys. Like, that not only is that illegal, it's unethical, and you know, the ethics part of it is something I take very seriously. But the legal part is like you could fucking go to jail. You know, you take people's money and you put it somewhere where it's not supposed to be. So. Also, we're audited. Like, so we actually have live audits on our WeFunder page. So if anyone doesn't believe me, you can believe the audits. So that is the good thing about that. Ray put the money under his bed. Okay, so here we go. Let's get into some of the news for today when it comes to Palantir. So now we got a lot of different stuff going on. First thing we'll do is get into CATHIE stuff. All right, so we just got the update for today on CATHIE. Here we go. Breaking. Cathie Wood ARK Innovation buys 297,000 shares. She bought 54,250 shares in the ARK FinTech Fund. She then bought 243,158 in the ARK KK Innovation Fund. And then another 42,000 here in the ARK W Fund. I think W is Next Generation Internet, if I'm not wrong. And I didn't even know she bought another 42,000. Brett had to tell me, look, she bought another 40,000. So all in all, what's that? 297 plus 42, that's about 338,000 shares, something like that. Another 300,000 shares for Cathie Wood. Why is Cathie Wood buying 338,000 shares? So a couple of things. I think there's a few reasons for why she's interested in this right now. GAAP profitability is happening. S&P 500 inclusion is happening. AI is becoming more serious. And they're realizing that in the enterprise space, there's not a real good player outside of Palantir. So there was a video I did today kind of highlighting Brett Winton, who is the head of ARK's research. They call him the chief futurist, which is the dorkiest fucking name on the planet. But like even the CNBC producer, bro, she was like introducing ARK's chief futurist. And she was like, the only one I've ever heard of. Because she's like, did you really just make me call you the chief futurist? It's like calling Elon the techno king. It's just like so annoying. But, you know, so the chief futurist is like, we don't invest in Google and Apple because the ability for those companies to 10x is not only fundamentally like, it's hard to imagine Apple's $3 trillion, it's become a $30 trillion company, right? Like that, there's just a lot of alpha that needs to happen. And even if it does happen, it's only a 10x, which is like, yeah, 10x is great. But again, it's like how much risk do you have to do and put up in order to be able to get that 10x. The second thing is that AI is kind of impairing a lot of the business models of big tech. And it's not that big tech's not going to adapt to it. Amazon was one of the examples where he said, look, they're including search queries into large language models. And as a result of in putting search queries into large language models, it's almost like their ads business is dying, right? Because if their ads business is based on people searching stuff and then clicking on sponsored links, those sponsored links are, you know, where the advertisers pay for money. So if you're going to create a LLM search ChatGPT type of result that just gives you the answer immediately, you don't need to have sponsored results. And it doesn't mean advertising is going away. It just means AI and generative AI is enabling things that are disruptive to the core business models. Now, you have to include those innovations, right? Because otherwise your competitors are going to get you. So you have to gut some parts of your business, but at what cost? And ARK thinks that there's a $90 trillion opportunity in the AI space for enterprises. Now, I think 90 trillion is kind of insane. Let's just assume it's 10% of that. That's 9 trillion, right? And which is kind of reasonable to me. The global equity market is about 100 trillion. If we imagine AI being as deflationary as it is, as productive as it is, I mean, robo-taxis, people have estimated would give Tesla like a couple trillion in volume or revenue if it really explodes. I don't know if that's going to happen, but like this theorization is not that insane given AI is that exponential. If that is the case, what platform or company exists from ARK's perspective that's trying to disrupt and invest in innovation that is actually going to create the enterprise value for companies? You've got to bet on the AI infrastructure play. And I think that's why they're betting on CATHIE Wood. That's why they're betting on Palantir. So it makes a lot of sense why they're investing. We got a little bit better of an insight for why they're thinking of Palantir over big tech. But ARK's not going to invest in Google, Microsoft, or Amazon because they just don't believe there's an alpha there. And they don't believe that AI is actually going to be something they can radically transform their businesses with. I mean, Google is making 70 billion bucks a year or something, or 70 billion bucks a quarter just off, not 70 billion they put up in numbers. I think it's like 50 billion just off search ads. That starts to decrease a little bit. You can't get those higher valuations, right? Earnings will start to come down. Investors will sell off the stock and the stock won't be able to expand as much as it needs to. So that's going to be interesting. How much do they own now? They own 5.3 million shares. 5.3 billion. And so that's what's, and again, for anyone who just knew, they bought 300,000 shares today. Question for you all. Should I start buying Palantir for my Roth IRA? Look, it's a question of if you believe in the company. Roth IRAs are accounts that grow tax-free, right? So you can put, I think, up to $6,500 a year for individuals and $7,500 for couples. If you believe in Palantir and it's going to be around by the time you're 62 when you can pull it out, or that it would be like a substantial investment, right? Then yeah, there's no, but most people invest in index funds for the Roth IRA. They don't pick individual stocks because they want those to be as mitigated in terms of risk as possible. But if you believe in it deeply, then you allow it to grow tax-free. It's just a question of, do you believe in it enough to allow it to grow tax-free versus, a mutual fund or something like that. Some of the buys are really large, so that is great. That is also correct. Yeah, Frugal, Eddie, I'm going to send you the link in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to send you the link in like probably 30 minutes or something. And so I'll send it to you on Twitter. Eddie will be on Finance Junkies today, and he will be giving us the bull case for Upstart, which is up 83% in this month. Kind of insane. So we'll be talking about that. Amit, at what price point would you stop buying Palantir shares? I answered this question in a DM. Someone messaged me today. My average is 15.30. So I am buying up until 15 because I need to reduce my average. So, I mean, yeah, at 11, it's like I'm not buying a lot right now because I bought a couple shares at 10, like maybe 20, 30, but I'm not buying now because I'm expecting a little bit of a pullback, a healthy pullback to 9 or 10. I'm going to load up more. My average is 15. So whether it's 7, 8, 12, 13, I would like to get an average of 12. And I did some of the math. I would have to put in a decent amount of money just to get the average down to 13. So we're going to see, it's averaged down from 26. So it's been a long journey, but if we can get it down to 12, that would make me happy. And we'll see from there. I bought Tesla and my Roth at $17 a share. Okay, Ray. So we know where you were putting that money now. It wasn't fucking Palantir or my startup. It was Tesla. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Chris taught me your dividends don't get taxed in your IRA. Really? I feel like you mentioned that before. I forgot about that. Well, if that's the case, then yeah. That's probably why he was buying SLG in his in one of those retirement funds as well. Gus, thank you for the super chat. $4.99. I appreciate you, man. It means the world to me. Thank you so much for that. Why not sell puts at 9? You can. It's just a question of how much is the opportunity cost for those puts, right? So if you sell Palantir puts at $9, that capital is you're going to get a premium. And it depends on how much capital you're willing to let go of for like a month or, 40 days, which is the average amount of time people sell puts for to be able to get a decent type of return, right? If you sell it for like 2 weeks, you maybe get some, but usually a month, it gives you like 4-6%. And then your strike prices can be below that. And then if it hits, it hits. If you think the strike price is going to run, or you think the price is going to run when it's at 9 and you want to get it then versus sell puts, then that's also a strategy, right? It's just up to you. Palantir may never pull back. Better to buy and hold. Won't matter when Palantir is $50 a share. Yep. And that's the thing, right? Whether it's 11 or 7 or 9, it really doesn't matter too much. I personally don't want to buy too much right now because I do think there's going to be a little, the market has been euphoric today. Let's take a look at Webull right now, just to give you guys a sense of the market, and then we'll get into some more Palantir news. The market was absolutely euphoric today. I mean, we had Ginkgo Bioworks, a company that I've been talking about for, there's not that many people on YouTube who are talking about it. I was talking about it in September. I publicly disclosed, got out of my position at $2.92 because I saw that the macro was just going to be way, way unfriendly to it. And it was, because it's a biotech, it was up 18% today, up at 153. Now, there's a reason why Sham Sankar, CTO of Palantir, who's also on the board of Ginkgo Bioworks, bought 400,000 shares. As much as I'm happy for Ginkgo, I wish he would buy some shares out of pocket for Palantir. That would be kind of nice. But he did not do that. He bought Ginkgo shares. And also there was an article that came out that Ginkgo has been able to decrease chemicals and toxins inside of like water. And as a result of that, they've also been, that was one of the catalysts that allowed them to kind of be where they're at right now. So, you know, that was the reason for the upward momentum on this. But look at the green. You got PayPal at 63, Palantir 1184, Upstart 2765, QQQ 337, nice little 0.27% today. ARK, I haven't seen ARK at $40 in forever. ARK is now $40. Palantir is helping them get to that $40 range. Tesla 189, beautiful finish to Tesla. Alibaba 86, MicroStrategy 294. You had Nvidia up. The Nvidia earnings are Wednesday. We're going to see what happens if this bad boy rallies on Wednesday with Nvidia. That is going to be absolutely insane that the market is continuing to give it a premium. But you know, we will see how the market judges it. Truist Financial, this is a stock that Chris and I have been talking a lot on. Finance Junkies at $26. This bank is not supposed to be at $26 given the fundamentals. It's at COVID lows at 26 for no reason other than the Silicon Valley Bank and FRC collapse. It went to $30.66 today. 30.66 is where it ended. I think it ended on a high. I don't think it went above 30.66 today, but it cracked 30, which was the big deal. And the S&P was flat at 419. So the whole market was in euphoria mode today, right? And that's what we saw. Sankar's buying DNA. Are you still buying? No, I am not buying DNA. I did not get enough from management to be comfortable to buy DNA. And so until I see what I want to see from management, which is less insider selling and more execution, particularly on the sell program growth front, which is, they're not doing bad execution, but it's not enough for me to feel that it's definitely worth putting the money in, even if it's at 150. There's also just other opportunities right now. Like, yes, it's up today. It could be down 9% tomorrow. There's way better opportunities, in my opinion, other than Ginkgo. The bank's Truist is a way better opportunity. And so as a result of that, I'm not buying that right now. Okay, some other Palantir news we got. So let me share my newsletter today. Palantir, SoFi is also a great opportunity. SoFi ran up phenomenally today as well. This is dailypalantir.substack.com. If you are not subscribed, you should be subscribed to the newsletter. So this was my kind of analysis for why Palantir continues to stay above at 11. I send a newsletter out around 7:30 every day. Gap profitability and AI seem to be the catalyst that have introduced new investors to the company. CATHIE Wood and ARK continuing to buy shares is likely leading more institutional investors that look to ARK as a benchmark. As much as we say that ARK is kind of stupid, which, to be honest, Zoom is their third largest position, and they think it's going to be $1,500, which is a 2,100% return on your capital by, what is this, by 2026. That's the base case, by the way. The bear case is at 650, so it's a 7x. That's kind of stupid, in my opinion, like personally, but institutions still look to ARK as a benchmark towards how to invest. And so that might be the reason they are jumping in, just like we are jumping in. Again, I've told you guys on the channel, I've met smaller institutional funds, like I manage $100 million. They're not as smart as, you know, the average retail investor. They're just doing what everyone else is. Like I've met conversations with these guys, and they obsess over the stock price just like we obsess over the stock price. So I met one of the guys after earnings went up from the previous earnings when Palantir went from 7 to 1030, and then it went right back down. And you know, he was he was just so angry about the SPACs and all this stuff. And in my head, I was like, bro, that stuff's like not even that important. Like that's gonna, like, yeah, they're gonna take some losses and they're gonna move on, right? And it's like, so they obsess over all the little minutia. They're not that much smarter than regular people. They just happen to manage money. So it's very likely to me that they're following ARK, just like other companies are following ARK. My question was, you know, how bad will the pullback be when a red day does come? Does it go to 9 or 10 versus 7 or 8? Does it hold at 11? What do we really see in terms of a pullback? Because that's going to determine a lot of where the, you know, momentum is going to be when it comes to Palantir. Deceased Kodak, what's up? I'm a new Palantir investor. Well, welcome to one of your first Palantir live streams. So to the 286 people here, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I am thinking of doing every day 8:45 to 10 right before Finance Junkies, hour and 15-minute daily Palantir live stream, because there's enough news to cover about Palantir. I send out a whole newsletter every day where, like, there's more news that I can keep up with in terms of content. And I'm like, it would be kind of nice to just sit for an hour and 15, condense all the news of the day and keep going from there. I mean, the company's getting to the point where it's just that much news. And At least for now, it seems like there's a lot of stuff to cover. There's a lot of interest. The thing about Palantir, actually, let me show you guys this thing. Hold on, stay right. I'm mad I said stay right here, as in like, stay, wait, don't leave. Okay, so this is what I did last night. Okay, look at this. All right, this is what I drew up last night. Okay, so we got Palantir, right? I want to make sure the mic's okay. Here, I'm gonna put it here, and I'm just gonna talk into the mic. Okay, so you got Palantir right in the middle. You got Palantir in the middle. Then you've got all these things that come from it. You've got SaaS as a service, right? So you've got Snowflake, Databricks, C3 AI, all the competitors in the software as a service space. Then you have Peter Thiel, which is a topic in and of itself. You've got the philosophy plus ethics. You've got geopolitical things, Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan. You've got data. Data is just data. AI is everything right now. Then you've got democracy, which is very important because we're getting to a more deglobalized world. Then you got LLMs, which is like very important in the context of where the world is going. Then you got Cathie Wood. Then you got defense. Then you got Alex Karp. Then you got IL6. You got a lot of stuff, right? You got a ton of stuff. And so to me, I was writing this up last night, kind of just thinking about the company. And I'm like, there's a lot of shit to talk about when it comes to Palantir. And so as a result of that, I just think this is one of those companies you can't not have a ton of coverage on because there's so much to cover. And this didn't even cover any of the financial stock-based compensation, revenue growth, customer clients, Jacobs Engineering, which they got involved with Kramer in a little bit, and I'm going to talk about them later. High-end heavy industries. I mean, there's just so many clients I can start naming off the top of my head that work with them, the UK Ministry of Defense, the NHS. So there's just so much. And because there's so much, we cover it. We probably just cover it. Okay. Take your meds a minute. It's that. That's how I write. That's all right. Thank you to 300 people being here. Thank you to 300. Got to ring the bell for 300. 300 people. Thank you all for being here in the first ever edition of Daily Palantir or Palantir Shareholders Club meeting. I don't know what I'm going to call this live stream, but likely going to be every day, 8:45 to 10, talking about Palantir. I'll be here as much as I can, and I watch the recordings of any episodes that I can't make too. I appreciate you, Greg. Eddie says maybe twice a week. See, that's the thing with me, bro. When I decide to do something, I can't do it just a little bit. So that's why with Finance Junkies, it's 5 times a week. With the morning stream, it's five times a week. Like if I decide to do something, I got to do it. And so I'm going to be here every night because there's enough to talk about and I got a lot to say. So we just keep doing. Do you use ChatGPT to write articles for your website or blog? 100%. ChatGPT does a really good job at taking a lot of the transcriptions from my YouTube videos and then turning it into more organized pieces of text. So ChatGPT has been absolutely phenomenal at helping us write articles. It doesn't do the best job. There's a lot of editing you have to do, but it does enough to create a baseline of being able to figure that out. How many of there are you? There's enough to keep this shit going. Gosh damn, I've been listening for the past 30 minutes at the gym thinking, damn, when is this video going to end? Then I check my phone to see my autoplay brought me to you. Yo, that's hilarious. The Biggie Ching McDing. That's a phenomenal username. Wow. So autoplay on YouTube at the gym took you to this video and it just hasn't stopped. And it's been live. Well, how much have you been lifting, bro? I hope you lifted some nice. That's the crazy thing is with content, it's you're in someone's ear or talking to them while they're doing something. And so it's really funny that if you're lifting heavy weights or something, my voice is inside there. Okay. So next thing on the Palantir. Okay. So here we go. The annual Bilderberg meeting. So I made a video about this. I'm going to do a quick summary about the Bilderberg meeting, and then we're going to take a look at a clip. So the Bilderberg meeting, for those that don't know, there's an annual forum every year where the most powerful people in the world get together to talk about a bunch of topics. No press is allowed. You get people that are heads of state, CEOs. Some notable names this year were Henry Kissinger, which, by the way, I don't know much about Henry Kissinger. He's the former U.S. Secretary of State, but I do know his name has been said so many times. I've just heard that name, Henry Kissinger, all the time. But I don't know that much about the guy. So it's so interesting that at this annual forum where the most powerful people in the world come, he's on the list, even though I know really nothing about him, but he's invited because his name is just so much out there. Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, everyone was there. I call it Met Gala for power. So we had Met Gala a couple of weeks ago where you had Vogue and, Jack Harlow and all these celebrities showing their fancy Givenchy and Louis Vuitton outfits and shit. None of that shit actually matters. None of those people control anything. Those people make money, but they don't have any power. They don't have all those artists. They're controlled by record labels. All those film stars, they're controlled by Hollywood. They don't actually have influence, bro. Influence is when you control the levers of all this shit, not just the fucking, the art of this, which a lot of those, celebrities ultimately at the end of the day are artists. So this is the real deal. Alex Karp and Peter Thiel were both invited. My assumption is that since AI and Ukraine were two of the largest issues that were on the docket to be discussed, Palantir plays an important role in both with their software, so likely because their software plays such a big role in AI and what's going on in Ukraine. That's why they were not only invited, but likely played a pivotal role in terms of the discussion. Now, one of the interesting things I found today, and I'm trying to pull up that clip, is a video from 6 years ago with two people in it. And Peter Thiel was stopped by the press at the Bilderberg meeting 6 years ago, and he gave them a statement. And it was just so interesting to kind of see how that meeting went down and who was with him in that meeting. Now, I'm trying to find that video real quick. Let me just pull it up. It might be in a different account. The person who's in the meeting with him, you guys are gonna be interested to kind of see who it is. Okay, it's not there. Give me 1 sec. Let me pull it in. Let's see if it's in this one. Okay, here we go. I just got it. All right. So this is the clip. So you'll recognize the person there with the meeting, and the person you're about to see with Peter Thiel walking in wherever they were 6 years ago, wherever Bilderberg was. It looks like some European city. You're going to realize why he is now one of the most powerful people on the entire earth. And he's been in these powerful circles. This is what I mean. Like the person you're about to see who's with Peter Thiel, you will have no doubt for understanding why he's the most powerful person in the planet. Not Peter Thiel, the guy with him. Because 6 years ago, he was in these circles already galvanizing all that fucking power to become the guy who he is today. Okay, this is the guy. Here we go.
Hey, Peter, how are you? Are you having a good day?
Oh, hold on. Let me turn my Bluetooth off because it's connected to my headphones. Okay, now it should connect. Here we
go. Hey, Peter, how are you? Are you having a good day? How's everything at Bilderberg?
That's good.
Can you tell us about your libertarian values and beliefs? I was really curious if it's able to be somehow conjoined with some of the people you're meeting with, because there seems to kind of be a conflict with that. I was wondering what you think about the philosophy and obviously, the meeting taking place. We're just curious about what's happening.
I'll leave it at. Let me just leave it at one statement, and then that's it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe that it's always important to exchange views with people, no matter what their perspectives are. I believe that I think that we have a lot of problems in our society, and we need to be finding ways to talk to people. We need to find ways to talk to people where not everything is completely transparent. Libertarianism is not synonymous with radical transparency. That's often an argument that the Stasi would make in East Germany, where everything had to be monitored by society. And I think often you have the best conversations in smaller groups where not everything is being monitored. And that's how you can have very honest conversations and how you can think better about the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, so he didn't say shit, right? By the way, you guys can hear me, right? You guys can hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. You can hear me. Okay. So he didn't say shit, right? Now, the reason they said that this is like libertarian idea versus Bilderberg is because Bilderberg, you would imagine, is more like World Economic Forum type of shit, where like people get together and they're talking about like this one world globalized kind of more socialist through ideals type of stuff is what's discussed, versus Thiel, who's like super anti-big. Thiel is very Ayn Rand-esque. If you know anything about Ayn Rand, she like does not believe in government at all. So, I mean, he believes in government, but just a very limited government. And now the person with him, which is so interesting, is now the most powerful man on the planet, I would argue. That guy right there, you see him? Sam Altman. 6 years ago, he's walking with Peter Thiel in the streets of wherever. It looks like some European city. And there he is, just walking with him casually. Like, Greg put up a good point. I think there's a connection for Thiel to Y Combinator. Yes, there is. The Sam Altman was the head of Y Combinator. For those that don't know what that is like the biggest incubator in the world for startups. They funded Airbnb, they funded Stripe, a bunch of different companies. And Peter Thiel is one of the co-founders and early investors in OpenAI. Now, I didn't know that Peter Thiel invested in OpenAI. I thought it was Elon's money, but it makes sense. I can probably confirm that later, but I'm assuming Peter Thiel probably put some money in OpenAI. Or at least they raised some money from him when it was a nonprofit. But the idea that Sam Altman was with Peter Thiel back in 6 years ago, and now Sam Altman is, I would argue, the most powerful man in the world if OpenAI becomes the company we think it can become, is very interesting. What does that mean for Palantir? Well, I think Peter Thiel has been thinking about AI for a long time, because if he invested in OpenAI, which let's just do a quick Google search right now. Peter Thiel invested OpenAI. Let's confirm that. Did he invest in OpenAI? Yeah, he did. Oh, wow. First response. Peter Thiel and Elon Musk launch OpenAI. Wow, this is 2015. They both did this shit together. They got along enough after that PayPal shit to do this. Wow. Elon and Peter Thiel launched OpenAI, nonprofit artificial intelligence research. Look at this. This is 7 years old. December 11, 2015. Now, you know why this makes sense? Because Thiel hates Google. He absolutely despises the overarching reach that Google has. And Thiel also, you know what he invested in? Rumble. And Rumble is growing like a mother effer right now in competition to Google's YouTube. So it kind of makes sense why he launched OpenAI with Elon, because Elon says it was a hedge against Google. So let's dissect this, right? Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Damn, this is a video idea. See, this is why it's fun doing these, because this is how my brain works when I think about this stuff. I just like trying to put the pieces together and see if there's a argument that could be made to make some type of analysis. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel launched OpenAI. Peter Thiel is with Sam Altman, now the CEO of OpenAI. 6 years ago at the Bilderberg meeting. The Bilderberg meeting is the Met Gala for power, where the world's most powerful, richest people talk about subjects. Peter Thiel not only invested in OpenAI, Sam Altman, who was walking with him down the street, is now the CEO of OpenAI. So one could logically conclude they have been thinking about AI for a long time. Now, let's talk about the investment opportunity. If you're going to invest in an AI play, I mean, outside of OpenAI, which Microsoft already invested $10 billion in, I mean, where else are you investing outside of a company that has also been thinking about AI for that long? I mean, you look at Snowflake, Databricks, C3AI, all that stuff. I don't know if those people have been thinking about AI as deeply as Peter Thiel. Case in point, Neva, for those that don't know, is a search engine that's like you pay per month to use it because they're like anti-ads. There's a former Google Ads guy who built the search engine because he hated like Google Ads, and they just shut down their consumer search engine on Sunday. So they put out a note that says that they're shutting down the consumer search engine because it's really hard to find users. They're like, it's almost impossible to compete with ChatGPT and Bard. But the enterprise version of that product, which is just a search engine connected to LLMs for a company, which sounds like, what do we all know? AIP by Palantir, right? It's essentially a search engine for the enterprise. Snowflake's thinking of acquiring them. Why is Snowflake having to acquire Neva and Palantir doesn't have to acquire anybody? Because Snowflake doesn't know how to do any of this shit. Snowflake doesn't have the technology. They haven't been thinking of AI. They've been thinking of fucking how to store your data better. And phenomenal company, growing amazingly. The whole world uses Snowflake. Like they have 8,000 clients. Palantir has like maybe 340, right? But which one matters more? Which one has had a founder who's been thinking about AI, who invested in a nonprofit all around hedging against Google's AI, who's been establishing AI as part of the military and defense contracts? It's not Snowflake. So, I mean, at that point, it's an interesting thing to kind of just think about and see how it kind of plays out. All right, let me get to these comments. If Amit goes to Rumble, Amit to 0. Yeah, I'm not going to. I would post my content on Rumble. I have no problem with being on Rumble. I just, Rumble's not at the point right now where my type of content I think will find an audience. I do think the platform is growing phenomenally. They just signed Kai Cenat, who's a awesome Twitch streamer, and iShowSpeed. These guys have like 50 million subscribers combined between them. So they're making some pretty big deals, but it's probably not the place where regular people can just find an audience there. Thank you, Amit, for your unleashed candor and excellent Palantir info. I bought in at $7.50. I am really grateful for your insight. Let's freaking go. Thank you for the $20 super chat, but thank yourself for buying in at $7.50. That is a phenomenal buy. As much as I hope we get back to that level so we could have more of a buy, I hope we don't get back to the level, and so you get to stay green. Because that's awesome. Hey, I was buying in at $7.50. I was buying in at $6. I was buying in at was it $5.90? I still have the buy from when I bought it at $5.96 that day because I was like, this is fucking stupid. We're gonna buy this stock. And so Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm so happy you're up at 750. That's great. Elon invested in it as a part, as not as a nonprofit. They took his investment, then fraudulently turned it for a for-profit company. Elon speaks publicly about the unethical way they got money for them. Yeah, and I think Peter Thiel feels the same. And so I wonder what his relationship is like now with Sam Altman. Now, to give Sam Altman credit and OpenAI some leeway here, they did not have the money to be able to create the computing infrastructure for the LLMs to be trained in order for ChatGPT, especially GPT-4, to even be released to the public. So they needed that money from somewhere. And if unfortunately, the way human nature works, forget capitalism, the way human nature works is you're not going to get billions of dollars, which you need for the compute storage for your large language models, if you don't give a return to investors, right? Like at the end of the day, that's just, no one's going to donate that much money to you. So, I understand why they did it, but I do think the way they went about it could have been a little bit better. Definitely not exactly the way they went about it was the best, especially just like basically telling Elon, yeah, we're just going to move on and none of it matters. It's time for Mitt to go all in Palantir. Think real. Thank you so much. Yo, I think it's like 50% of my portfolio. And so I don't have a lot of stocks in my portfolio. It's like 3 or 4 positions right now. I've got a very heavy option strategy right now that today, bro, this is one of the first option strategies I've ever done in my life, like a really big options bet. And the volatility of it is insane. But if it works out, I don't want to say how much I'm going to make if it works out, but it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be my first big win in the stock market. And all of you guys will know about it publicly. It's on Truist, the bank. So you guys already know that. And if it works, man, like, me and Chris were talking on the phone today, it's a lot of money. And so this is one of those things where I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do this play because I just haven't seen an opportunity like this before, but it's options. So it's still risky, but it's working out well. And we'll see. Truist passed $30 today. We'll see how it goes from there. So, but that opportunity I want to keep because I think the banks are undervalued. If that money wasn't there, it would probably be a lot more into Palantir. Could go to zero. It could absolutely go to zero. There is no break even on TFC because the option strategy doesn't use a break even, if that makes sense. It's a spread essentially. And maybe a spread does have a break even and I'm incorrect about that, but you kind of don't need the break even for it to make money because the spread I would have to give you the price of the spread, not the price of what TFC has to go to because it's a spread. So the TFC price actually is kind of irrelevant. The algorithms that are controlling the spread for my options trade are kind of disconnected from the price on TFC to an extent. It kind of works in an interesting way. So it's pretty cool. Today bought 1,000 in Palantir and 1,000 on, I think you forgot to finish that sentence, Steven. 1,000 on the other one. 50,000 shares of Palantir. Yo, think real. What's your average? Holy crap. That is insane. Oh, SoFi, Truist, Zion. Got it. Gotcha, Steven. Awesome. Wow. Think real, 50,000 shares. That's a lot of freaking shares, bro. That's a lot of freaking shares. That's me. So speaking of price action on Palantir, let's move to the next part of the newsletter. Again, dailypalantir.substack.com. You can subscribe, daily newsletter every single day around 7 p.m. So this is a video I did with Sachin. Some of you guys probably saw it, some of you didn't. One of the main questions I've been asked from those that loaded up Palantir stock at 7 and are up 40% is if they should sell. I said it's a very subjective issue because everyone has a different personal financial situation, but it's more important to understand why you were in a stock in the first place. I didn't invest in Palantir to be happy because I'm up 40%. By the way, I'm not up 40%. Still fucking down from that 15 average, but nonetheless, I genuinely believe there's a larger ROI if the narrative plays out over the next decade. And when I say genuinely, I really do mean genuinely, bro. I'm not just saying that to say that. And I hope 1,000 fucking videos on the channel is enough evidence that like I actually believe in this. And so like my money's where my mouth. I really do believe there is a massive ROI here. And it doesn't seem that obvious except to some parts of our community. Even then we're a bit more skeptical. I don't think there's a Tesla-like return. I think that's gonna be very hard only because it's B2B. But I do think there's a Salesforce-like return, which is a $200 billion company, which is a 10x. And there's not that many companies to find that are going to 10x over the next, forget even 5 years, 10 years. I mean, name me a company that's going to 10x over the next 10 years. And yes, you can say Tesla, but there's a lot of work that has to be done for Tesla to do that, right? So let's exclude Tesla from that conversation. What other stock? I think SoFi is very possible. And I think Palantir is very possible. DNA is very possible, but DNA is very risky. I don't know that many other companies that are going to 10x. I really don't. You can put it in the chat and we'll take a look at it, but I really don't. Understanding the reasoning behind your investment can quickly determine if selling or not or holding on to it makes sense. So I asked Sachin what his advice was for building a conviction. And, his argument was you have to be honest why you're making money from a company. Why do you think you're investing in a company? So when I told him, I started buying some Enphase because I do believe it's undervalued and I think it's an awesome company and I think there's potential there. his advice to me was, do you care enough about solar? And I think that's the advice that everyone should resonate with. I care about AI. I care about LLMs. I care about Western democracy. I care about the implications of these things on the rest of the world. I care about, protecting ourselves from becoming an authoritarian state. These are things actually, they relate to me more philosophically than anything. And so that matters to me, even if it's like not this super big deal for why you care about it. Do you have some resemblance of caring about it outside of the monetary gain from the stock? On Enphase, I don't really give a shit about solar. It's just the money, bro. Like, yeah, if it goes up, great. I don't give a shit about transforming the world to solar. I really don't care. I mean, I could give less of a fuck, to be honest. I don't care. And so, but if it makes money, I'm interested. And so if you don't care enough about it, if it's just purely financial, it's going to be a little harder to hold on to it when you go up 40%, because, you're only going to care about that 40%. I don't think Palantir was going to almost double this year, but hey, we'll gladly take it. Yeah, I will gladly take it as well. Josh says, hey, Amit, you need to tell us about your TFC position. You attracted an audience because of your transparency. It's our responsibility to make our own trades. I agree with this. That's a great point. However, when you do attract an audience, I think you're supposed to be transparent about your positions, the stocks you're in, the stocks you're out of, but not always exactly what you're doing with the stock, because there is influence. And let me make my case in point here, right? There was a guy who tweeted at Chris today. So Chris tweeted, let me pull up Chris's tweet. By the way, if you guys are not following Chris, my fellow finance junkie, you absolutely need to be following Chris. Chris showed that TFC went to $30 today, right? This is what he tweeted May 14th, right? These are all the banks, all of them right here. This is Truist. This is, I think, when the stock was $27.30. The lowest intrinsic value of this company is $47. And that's not even the fair value. The fair value from a Morningstar report that is 20 pages long. If you don't have access to it, email amit@dailypalantir.com. I will send you the PDF for free because the PDF costs money, but your boy got the hookup. You know what I'm saying? Because I pay for Robinhood Gold, so they hooked me up. I didn't even know Robinhood Gold gives fucking free Morningstar reports. So the fair value on that report is $57. And so the lowest intrinsic is 47. So it has a 73% upside, which is the highest upside out of all the banks. This is why Chris has been pounding the table on Truist. And I sat down with him like 2 Saturdays ago for like 5 hours. And we just talked about it, and he broke it down to me. And that's what gave me the confidence to do the options trade, right? So he says Truist broke the $30 barrier today. I then quote tweeted it. I thought my quote tweet was kind of funny. I said, making money is fun because, bro, I haven't made that much money in the stock market. So it's kind of fun to make some money. That's why Carlos also, he was like, I hope Truist works out for you so you can finally feel like what it is to make money. Because all 3 of those have made multiple 6 figures. That's why I think the podcast is unique. They've made multiple 6 figures in the stock market. I have made, I would say maybe close to 10,000 over the past 3 years, like of actual profit. But like, that's it. I've never had a really big win, right? Wins here and there, but nothing like crazy. That's like, holy crap. Like, I put my money in the market and this is what I got because I made a smart investment. And so it's really cool kind of being in a bank where it's not as speculative and you just find that it's undervalued. Now, there was a guy who responded. This is why I brought this up. I don't know if it was on this one. Yeah, here it is. Thanks, Chris. When you laid it out, I put in $75,000 at $26.94. He's up $9,500. So the point that I'm trying to get at, going back to the option strategy, is like, yeah, you have an audience, you're supposed to be transparent, but there is some influence that's involved. And I don't want people copying exactly that because the risk is also high because it's not just a stock, it's an option strategy. So the stock is fine. Like, yeah, the stock is, yeah, you know the stock I'm in. But if you know the option strategy and the shit goes south, instead of just losing money on the shares, you lose a lot of money on the option, even though there's a max loss, right? Because the way we structure it, it's not like some unlimited, we're not, that's just the way it's structured. But still, that's just why I don't want to share that. So that's all. Tell the haters to eat grass. Yeah, it's easy to do that, but also there's some levels that you just, there's just stuff you don't want to include all the time. But I'm in the position, so that's the most important thing. I don't like sharing exact positions, especially options. The learning curve for options is steep and random. Exactly. It takes a lot of mental strength and risk management to be in the exactly. And so that's why Chris also made it a big deal to not talk about the option, because it takes a lot of, he knows what the fuck he's doing. I know what I'm doing because he knows what he's doing. I can't trust that anyone else knows what they're doing if I talk about it. And same thing with him, which is why we try not to talk about that shit. But you can talk about the stock and the due diligence, which is what matters, but not the actual options, because that just takes a lot more learning. And I don't even know everything about it. I'm only able to do this because I'm like turning into a fucking protege from Chris, because he actually understands all this fucking shit and he's able to explain it to me. So that's the difference. That's why I don't want to just say it like that. You don't think people are going all in on calls based on your influence? That's up to them, but I'm not telling them to go all in on options. I'm telling them to think of a stock in an interesting way. It's up to them then if whatever they want to buy it, sell it, go on calls, whatever, that's up to them. But I'm not advising an option strategy. In fact, I'm very anti-options because options are very difficult to understand. That's why I don't fucking do any options. That's why this is the first time I've ever done it. But I'm not going to disclose the exact options. If you want to learn how to do it, then that's fine. Chris is Amit's financial advisor, basically. Did you buy any shares to buy the dividend? No. Because all my money's in that option. That's doing just a lot better. So, this is a sensitive topic. Yeah, it is a sensitive topic, right? But like, look, I think at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I am transparent on all my positions. I think all of us on Finance Junkies are. But when you get into the very nitty gritty, no one has to know how many shares Vitaly has of Enphase, and he's not going to say that shit. So. And he has a bunch of different options on Enphase. He's not going to disclose that shit because he doesn't want people to go into that shit. But he can disclose he's generally bullish on Enphase. And so I think that's the difference there on how it kind of goes from there. Meet Kevin, the one who told people to buy. Oh, this is the thank you, Bot 101 for this comment. Meet Kevin is the one who told people to buy stocks and then sell them on the crash. With an option strategy, you have to do risk mitigation. So let's say something on an option goes super south and you immediately need to get out of it. Right? It's not just you buy and hold and you DCA, which is generally the best strategy for any stock you're in, right? Unless everything goes to shit. You buy and hold, you DCA, you get a better fucking average and you just wait it out. That's how it goes. On an options, if you hold, your shit might go, you might lose everything. And that's another reason if people aren't ready to make quick real-time decisions if shit goes south, that's why you don't want to disclose your specific option strategy because then they're going to be like, well, I didn't know how to manage it or mitigate the risk. Well, yeah, because you didn't know how to do options. And so that's also another reason to not literally disclose everything from there. Okay. Then you just buy more. Just buy more options, go even more down. Okay, let's go to Twitter. So let's see what there's a funny. So I went on this website today. Apparently, it's easy to make memes on the internet. I didn't know that, but I guess you can make memes more easier on the internet. So I made this meme. Here's the meme from the Daily Palantir account. I bet he's thinking about other women. And the dude's like, why did I not buy more Palantir at $7? This to me is the epitome of everything that's going on in my relationship. Every night when I go home to sleep with my girlfriend, sleep in the bed and, sleep with my girlfriend, after we're, done talking, I lay over and I'm just chilling on Twitter, right? Scrolling through Twitter. And she gives me this look. She's like, I bet he's thinking about other women. And like she says this to me, bro. And I'm just like, no, babe. Like, I'm thinking about why I didn't buy any more fucking Palantir at $7. That's what I'm thinking about every night. So I kind of tweeted this so she could, get off my what and be like, bro, this is not a question of me cheating on you. Okay. This is a question of us to start worrying about how us not having enough shares. That's what I'm worried about at night. Okay. I'm not worried about me fucking cheating on you. I'm worried about me cheating on others on Palantir with other stocks because I don't have enough in Palantir. So that was one of the tweets. This is another one. I tweeted this while I was in the car on the way to the dentist today, bro. I didn't know it would do what it did, but I said my future wife's really out there in the world somewhere, not knowing her husband's going to buy them a house one day with his Palantir shares. And a lot of people resonated with this, and this one was the funniest one, the house. And I was like, this is very mean. But it was a fun tweet. And at that time, Palantir just crossed 12 when I tweeted that. So that was even cooler. So that was another tweet that the Palantir account had to tweet out. Is your girlfriend a blow up doll of Alex Karp? No. Okay, that's rude. That's very rude. Bro, what girlfriend? Damn, you guys really don't believe I have a girlfriend, yo. When I do have a real girlfriend and I say it, I think it's gonna be like the boy who cried wolf. You guys are never gonna believe me at all. Which is sad. It's funny because this is really okay. David actually does have a girlfriend, so shout out to David. Yeah, David, I'd imagine you're dealing with that, right? We all should have bought so much more at fucking 7, but all of us, bro, we're like, are we dumb? We've been talking about this company for 2 years and we didn't buy as much as we could at 7. Like it's what we think, right? At the end. Now here's another thing. Where's this? Oh, here. Let me go to Andrej because he replied to it. By the way, if you don't follow Andrej, this is another account you need to follow. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. This is a great account on Palantir and investing in general. He put 100K into Tesla, or he put like 10K into Tesla, put 100K into Palantir. He's awesome account. So I put this in the morning stream, but C3 AI, our good friends, had some words to say about Palantir. And this is what they said. Okay. So this is a clip of it. So they were doing just watch this clip for 1 minute. Okay. This is how they were talking about Palantir. This is like, I think I don't know if that's the chief marketing guy or whatever, but he's on stage talking to an audience.
This was the largest market to date in software. However, IDC revised this number this year to $791 billion. The growth in this market alone in the last year is larger than the entire analytics platform market, right? So still one of the largest markets today. However, as Rowan mentioned, and I think even Jim talked about, the approach that many companies are taking are to put in place these data lakes and try to then build kind of departmental AI applications against those data lakes. The issue is it's not reusable, it's not scalable, and at the end of the day, you have an AI application, but is it showing value? So the way that C3 thinks about its product roadmap, how we build product, how we decide to build product, is all around value, right? What is the value across the value chain? This was the
Oh crap, I'm muted. I'm sorry, I'm muted. So what I was saying is you see how C3 is talking about Databricks or data lakes right here. They put 5 companies: Amazon Redshift, BigQuery, Snowflake, Databricks, and Palantir. Now, anyone who knows anything about Palantir, like, they're not a data lake. A data lake is storing your data, compartmentalizing your data. That's why they have 8,000 clients, right? Because it's not compute like AWS and stuff like that, but it's something similar in terms of the packaging and storing of data. It's not analytics based on your data. There might be some analytical capabilities, but it's a fundamentally different product. There's no ontology. There's no large language models, right? Like you can set up a Snowflake account tomorrow and start paying $20 a month and you're connected to Snowflake. Palantir is a bit more different because there's a bit more of a value proposition. So it's really funny that they're accusing Palantir of being a data, whatever you call it, company, a data lakes company, when that's just wrong. And it's kind of disingenuous as well. And so I'm currently doing a bigger deep dive onto C3 AI. Andrej found something really interesting. Let me share this as well. C3 AI was founded in 2009 by Thomas Siebel as C3. Originally, the C in the company's name was reference to carbon, and the 3 was a reference to measure, mitigate, and monetize, because the company's original goal was to help manage corporate carbon footprints. For some time in 2016, the company was named C3 IoT, and before that was briefly named C3 Energy. Then the company went public in 2020, and they named themselves C3 AI because AI has become the new, I guess, buzzword or whatever. So they went from carbon to IoT to energy, and now it's AI. And so that even, I'm not calling them a scam or anything like that. I want to do more research into them because they have clients. Like, it's not like they don't have clients and stuff. I'm just very curious about, I guess, overall how they compete with Palantir, if they're going to call Palantir a data lake. Doesn't seem like that. Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. Yes, you guys should be able. So we have Finance Junkies in 17 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be getting into Finance Junkies. Let me just send one thing. On Finance Junkies today, we have a couple things. We're going to be talking to Eddie about Upstart. Eddie, I'm actually sending you the link right now. So 10:15, you'll be on. We're going to talk about this rally that we had today. And we're also going to talk about the debt ceiling and kind of how much does debt actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Because Joe Biden and Kevin McCarthy, Speaker of the House, they started discussing a bunch of things today. And they said that they're going to be able to get the deal done. The question is, are they actually going to be able to get a deal done? And if they don't get a deal done, what are the implications of that? I think is very important to kind of discuss as well. So we'll be going through all that stuff in Finance Junkies. Matt Money needs to stream so I can say, I agree. Matt Money, you need to stream so people can cheat on me with you. Matt Money is great at streams. He can just keep talking and keep going. What's the Lakers score? I forgot that I'm live. And I'm obviously more important than the Los Angeles Lakers. You know what I'm talking about? Because Palantir is going to the moon one day. So we've got to keep up with my live streams. But how are the Lakers doing? Lakers, what's going on? 71-58. Lakers. Oh, thank God. Thank freaking goodness. Thank the holy. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Lakers. For once, you guys aren't going to get swept. I hope to God they don't get swept. Look at that. 72. What's the box score? What's the box score? LeBron is 30. Oh my. Wait, Anthony has 8. Oh, I thought Anthony Davis was 30 points. Okay, so LeBron does not want to get swept. That's what's going on right now. LeBron James does not want to get swept. And that's why, thank God, bro. I was so afraid that they were going to get swept. I was going to be so sad. Thank goodness. LeBron's going off. Yeah, I haven't been able to watch it because I was doing this. Wow. That's awesome. Smash that like button. I'm going to bed. Enjoy your night, Futbucker. I know you've been working a ton, so enjoy your night. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. LeBron and Gordon got into it. Okay, there we go. Anthony Davis finally showed up. Thank goodness, man. 30. Yeah, bro, if the Lakers come back and they beat the Nuggets, oh my, and they go to game 7, I literally don't watch basketball outside of LeBron. Let's see, like I just care now that the Lakers finally have a shot and that the playoffs are happening, and I just want the Lakers to do well. That's it, man. That's it. I just want the Lakers to do well. I just want LeBron to win. Okay. So what else do we have in the world of Palantir? 328 watching, only 16 likes. Come on, everyone, smash like button, keep it going. Please like the stream. That would help out a lot. I never asked too much, but please like the stream. That would help. LeBron likes to act. I'm not gonna lie, LeBron likes to flop a lot. LeBron says he doesn't flop, but he does. Look, he's not the GOAT. All right. I still agree Michael Jordan's the GOAT. But I think LeBron is up there, and I think one day he could challenge him. If he gets that 5th ring, it's a more deeper conversation. It's not as easy as he's not the GOAT. So I think that would be the case. Okay. So what else do we have going on in the world of Palantir? There's a couple of other things I just wanted to pull up real quick. Let me go to one thing right here. So obviously, for those that are new today and you missed the news, CATHIE, she bought another 300,000 shares. So she has her in total about 5.3 million shares. Oh, the Kramer news. Okay, so that's the last thing we're going to talk about, and then we'll be done for today. So I'm not going to show the entire video, but I'm going to I'm going to try to see if I can get the clip of it. Let me pull that up right here. Pull that up. Let's see if Twitter search is somewhat decent at this. Twitter search is so bad, bro. It's so unbelievably bad. Okay, so basically the context on this before I pull this up is that Jacobs Engineering is a company that partnered with Palantir. I made a video on them a long time ago, and Jacobs Engineering is essentially a engineering firm that is a consulting firm. So they work with large clients to do infrastructure. And there was a water infrastructure deal that they made with Palantir to help them sort of radically optimize the data-driven decision-making they do when it comes to water. The Jacobs CEO went on Kramer's show on Mad Money. And, Kramer says Palantir is not real, right? And Kramer had to kind of admit that Palantir wasn't real, because if you're on the show, you got to say Palantir is not real. And then the CEO of Jacobs is like, what the hell are you talking about? Palantir is like transforming our lives. They're transforming our business. Like this Palantir thing is crazy. It's insane. And so Kramer had to basically eat his words and essentially say that Palantir is a real company. Then someone called in the other day, I think like either on Friday or a couple days ago, and they asked Kramer, what do you think about Palantir? And then Kramer says, yeah, they're a legit company. I might have been wrong in them. I changed my mind. So Kramer is officially excited. I'm going to make it a full video on this a little bit later, going more in depth, because I'll get the actual video up and we'll react to it. But it seems like Kramer's excited about Palantir. Now, the interesting thing about this is I think we have to take the symbolic essence of what this means. Like, yeah, we can joke around about inverse Kramer or whatever. Honestly, I don't care if Kramer likes Palantir, because to be fair, if Palantir can rally, even if Kramer's bullish, then nothing in the fucking world is stopping Palantir. If they can rally against Kramer being bullish Palantir, they're off to the races. But regardless of that, the fact that a CEO from a client that works with Palantir can get onto a platform that accesses tens of millions of people. I mean, CNBC is a very large media company, and they access, like what Jeremy Kramer says, at the end of the day matters, right? He has a I was walking at an airport in North Carolina, and Mad Money was on the TV. Like it's just, there's reach, right? CNBC controls the media infrastructure when it comes to finance media. For him to get on national television and be like, no, you're wrong. Here's what they did with us, and here's why they're legit. And for Kramer to then change his tone and actually believe them and not, kind of be rigid in his opinion, it just shows that when people understand the validity of the product, what the product can do, how it can transform a business, and these are real people with real lives talking about their businesses becoming more efficient and more effective, more of that getting out into the world is going to get more people excited about Palantir, but more of that is going to change the overarching sentiment, because ultimately Kramer was upset about them because Karp banged on the table. I mean, he said Karp can't be cursing at earnings calls and banging on the table because they're not profitable yet. They got profitable. He still was like, whatever. And now he actually talks to someone who is telling him, no, bro, you're wrong on this one. You're not right. And I think that's what kind of has to do it for him at the end of the day. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I'll do a full video on this going a little bit more deeper, but we'll keep going from there. So, but it just shows the ability for Palantir and their clients to change other people's minds because the product is real and because they can actually work. So, yeah. What did Tesla close today? 189. What did I say to your tweet at Tesla 183? Yeah, it's very close to 190. It's very close to getting there. We'll see how it goes. Palantiries equals Palantir millionaires. All right, this is the last question I'll do. Predictions for the NHS resolution. I think we're getting it. I have some updates. I'll be doing a video later this week about what's going on with the NHS. I think we're getting this deal. And it would be a travesty for us to not get this deal, especially when hospitals have already started importing their data into Palantir. Like, I don't even think it makes sense. It's logically not possible for us to get the deal. Remember, we're not debating against Foxglove. I think someone from the NHS literally called Palantir and they were like, don't put on this hoopla show and embarrass yourselves. You're going to get the deal. You don't need to go through all this press, because Palantir was ready to debate. They were like, let's fucking do this, bro. We'll debate y'all at. And like, that just didn't happen. The only reason you don't do a public debate is if someone that controls the powers that be tells you not to do that, because you don't register for it and then 2 days later change your mind. You change your mind because you realize there's more to lose than to gain. And I think that that is influenced by someone saying, hey, if you know you're going to get the deal, you don't need to prove to this organization that's spewing propaganda that you're going to get the deal, and let them control the narrative to the media, because if they have more reach or they are able to market it better, then you look bad. So I think we'll get the deal and we'll know by the fall if the deal goes through. I'm going to let every other company finish, but Palantir is the greatest company of all time. I love it. Let's see, man. I mean, Tesla might be the greatest return of all time, but Palantir is, we have no idea. And that's the fun part about this. I don't know if we have a Tesla-like return, but we get a nice little 5 to 10x, hopefully 10x by 2030, 2032. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. How many ARK shares now? About 5.3 million. By 5.3 million. Okay. That's it for me, guys. 8 minutes. Finance Junkies. Go get some popcorn, get some drinks, get some food, whatever you need to do. We got Finance Junkies. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss on this monster rally. And we'll be discussing Upstart, a stock that is up almost 100% in a month, and kind of debating the bull bear case of it, discussing the rally, discussing what the government is doing right now, the Fed interest hikes. By the way, the executive chair of the Fed, James Bullard, came out today and he said, expect 2 more rate hikes this year. You know, SoFi is planning that they're going to cut rate hikes twice. He said, no, expect 2 more increases before you even think of a pause, much less think of a hike. And the market took that news in and said, we don't care. And they rallied, because I think the market's getting tired of J-Pow shit. Truflation showing inflation at 3%. The Fed's fund rate is higher than the current CPI. If we get a nasty CPI in June, nasty meaning good, meaning goes from 4.9 down to 4.2, 4.3, I don't know if these rate hikes are coming anymore. And so CPI is going to be very interesting, but we'll ultimately see what happens. All right. I will see you guys in 7 minutes for Finance Junkies. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you in 7. Bye, guys.